It's been a great weekend with the guests on Heavy Brand Podcast. We got one more guest to close out the Saturday. I've been very pleased, and it's just been a continual blessing with the quality guests, the caliber of guests that we continue to get on Heavy Brand Podcast. I'm speechless. Hey, how you doing, Ajima?
Hey, fine, and you?
Pretty good, pretty good. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to spend some time with us and share some words of wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So now, Ajima, just a quick little bio. Heavy Brand Podcast was something I came up with right at the start of the pandemic. In my adopted hometown of Detroit, I wanted to find a more realistic way to motivate the youth I was working with rather than just telling them stay in school or stay off the streets. I felt it would be more impactful to have professionals from different industries to share some of their stories, their struggles, their successes, and I felt that was more impactful. And so far, so great.
Congrats.
Thank you. And little heads up, we might put you on the spot from time to time. We like to do that to our guests. So, in your line of work, I'm sure being impromptu and all that is right along, the ballpark. So we shall get started. Okay.
Let's see how my improv skills are.
Let's make it happen. So Ajima, who was Ajima Cole before TV work, before you got on the screen? Who was Ajima Cole? Were you LA? Were you Sierra Leone? What's the actual background?
I am born and raised in LA, but I always represent Sierra Leone, where my parents are born and raised. My siblings and I were born out here. It was very much Ajima Cole, you're going to school, you're focusing, because my dad is a history professor. So there was no getting out of not studying and getting your good grades in school. But for me, even though school was very important, being creative was always number one for me. Like, my first love is dance, and it will always be dance. I started off dancing in elementary school, and then every time my dad would take me out of dance classes, because I was so focused on dance that I kept forgetting about school and how important that was. Okay. Ajima Cole is the girl who loves being creative and is itching to get that out, but also wants to make her parents proud and get an education and know how important that is to my parents. So it became very important to me as well. So I was focused in school once I got it right, No, grades are important.
Sure.
Right. I ended up going to college and I got a degree in psychology with a minor in family studies.
Awesome. Now, as far as work, after school, you did a lot of work with youth, correct?
I did. I worked with kids on the spectrum at a gym. I worked with kids at an all-boys probation home as a counselor. I worked with other kids as an applied behavioral analysis, and just working on their social skills and cues in the school system and at home as well. So, and then I also worked as an after-school program teacher in arts and sports, as well as just schoolwork as well. So kids are my life. I love them.
Amen to that. And you're on the right platform too.
Right.
This has definitely been a blessing in our 2 seasons of this youth and mentorship podcast, because there's not that many youth and mentorship podcasts. You got the adult podcast, you have youth podcasts, but as far as youth and mentorship podcasts, it's not too many podcasts like that. And it's been a blessing listening to professionals like you. I just get goosebumps as you guys are just talking. It's just like, all these powerful, impactful people sharing their stories. Like, not to cut you off, but I'm like really, really humbled by your presence and the presence of all our guests.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Now, I read something about you. I don't know if it was IMDb or some other media publication, but it really made whatever hair I got left on my head stand up, where I think it had to do with runway modeling gigs, and you encountered some negative energy from someone as far as like, having curves or having thick thighs. Could you break that story down for us, please?
Oh yeah, that was probably on my Instagram. You probably caught that.
Okay. Let me see
um,
you.
right. So after I graduated college, I went into the modeling world, and I I really love modeling. Like, I love being on the runway, even though you're on it for such a short amount of time. Your day for that runway show is long. And I have done like LA Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, Swim Week. And I became very, very close with a lot of these designers. So close that I went to an audition, and one of the model coordinators saw me. She's seen me before on these runway shows. And she told one of the designers that she didn't know I knew personally, saying that they probably didn't want to choose me as one of their models. So what the model coordinator had them do was make a list of their top 5 choices, model choices of who they want walking for them. And for that specific designer, I was their first choice. That model coordinator told them, you probably don't want to have her because other designers probably won't have her either because her thighs are too thick. That designer came back to me, called me, let me know, and I was kind of shocked. I was very shocked, honestly. It did hurt because in the modeling world, it's very much, you don't want dark-skinned girls. You don't want girls with thick thighs. You don't want girls with big hips. You don't want girls with big boobs. And it's just like, there's beauty in all shapes and sizes. And I think the modeling world is slowly making a change where we're not just gonna have these size zeros at all. So it was a learning experience for me. It threw me back for a moment. I think I had a conversation with my dad, who always builds me up. And he was just telling me, as a father, of course, they're always gonna be like, you're beautiful, forget who that person is. This person is probably that, and that, while you're this, and this, and just building up my spirits, of course. It took a little while for me to kind of get back up and smile and not let it bother me. It was just very interesting. Like, you don't understand that in this industry, everybody knows somebody. And if you're a kind individual and you make these right relationships with other people, they're going to tell you what's going on around.
Okay, they're gonna be transparent with you.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I've always been a type of person where I love transparency. I respect it. Whether it's good or bad, I respect it. So I was very grateful for that designer to let me know, because for me, I'm just like, I love my body. And especially with like kids that might look up to me or anyone that looks like me, I want them to know you should love your body, you should love your face, you should love your skin tone as well. So that was just,
Man.
I'm gonna leave that lady alone.
Prayers up to her, that
Right.
one day she gets past the 17th century. But, even from an average Joe's perspective like mine, I'm starting to see more runway models of color, catalog models of color. I'm starting to see some South Sudanese models. So, for an individual like myself that has daughters, very what the industry would consider unique looking daughters. My daughters are half Ghanaian because I'm Ghanaian, and they're half Russian because of their mom. And, they don't have blonde hair, blue eyes, and they have curves, so it's very encouraging to see trailblazers and pioneers like yourself and throughout the media publications. So please keep grinding, making your presence felt, because the difference that you're making. You might not necessarily see it right away, face to face, but there's a lot of young ladies of color watching. So thank you and continue pushing.
Oh man, thank you. Man, giving me life right now. Thank you.
Amen to that. For continual growth. Now give us a little bit. So we recently had a stunt actress on the podcast. She's played Gabrielle Union's body double. Ooh. And the gist I got from her was like it's very hard to get into the movie business from any angle. So share some of your experiences working as an actress officially. You got your IMDb profile, everything is legit. It got the year to production. Let us know a little bit about the movie industry.
The movie industry, I'm still working to get in it as well. It's a process that's never going to stop. I guess there's levels to it, right? Yeah. But just like I agree with her, like no matter which way you try to get into the industry and get to that level that you want to, it's always going to be hard. It's always going to be difficult, meaning you always have to be training, whether it is being in classes, taking voice lessons, doing your fight stunt training or anything like that. You always have to be training. And for me, I'm maneuvering. I'm networking with the right people. Most importantly, I have the right people around me that continuously build me up and lift my spirits and just keep me pushing and thriving and wanting me to do better. That's very, very important to have around you within this industry. So I'm taking my classes, I'm networking, I have the right people around me. And then also I'm writing as well. You don't want to wait to get put on, right? It's like what Issa Rae did. She wrote her own show and look at her now.
Yeah.
Right. And it's
right about that.
Right. Now she got her own production company and everything too. So she's doing the thing. But it's very hard to get in the industry. But I think what's important to remember is to keep going, to not try to get to a certain level that everyone else is at, but maybe find the people that are around you that are also building up so you can get to that level together. Because so many of us want to work with all these top directors and producers and writers. I absolutely want to, but also there's producers and writers around me, my friends, that are probably going to get to that level one day. And we can get there together, right? And we can start our own like our A-list production, our A-list company, anything like that, and still get into the industry. So with the movie field, like I'm just getting done filming a short film. After that, they're gonna try to see who can buy it, get on streaming services. It's just always continuously moving and trying to get as far as you can into the industry.
And as you're saying is, I really appreciate, all the, different options that you're bringing up, with your team. And as you're speaking, I'm thinking of Jennifer Aniston. Now, she's a household name. A lot of people don't realize, like, her first big start was in Leprechaun, like a sci-fi horror movie, and Tom Cruise was in Risky Business. So you never know, how far you're going to take this, you're going to take this game, doesn't really matter, where you start. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in your team too. So,
man, that's true. Very true.
Now, as far as like your secret trainings on the side with this whole industry, as I'm starting to learn, I see a lot of people really applying themselves to the next level. You were like maneuvering around with like a staff. You have a martial arts background. That was some high level twirling with that staff.
What's funny that you're thinking of the bow staff training I was doing. Probably the video you saw was the first day I took that class.
No, wow.
And you know what helped? It was my dancing background that helped, being able to pick up choreography quickly. So it's not secret training. It's out there. I always try to like post who's the trainers or anything like that, because they're all amazing. And they all just excite me and make me want to keep coming back to classes. So yeah, I do bow staff training. I do some fight choreography training. I take my acting classes. So that means scene study, monologues, on-screen performances. I make sure I'm reading and studying my own monologues, because you always have to be prepared. Taking code reading classes. So classes are so important.
Awesome. From your perspective, Ajima, what is more challenging as far as progressing up the ladder, modeling or acting?
I'm gonna say acting.
In what ways?
So even though for both modeling and acting, you kind of have to figure out which route you want to go. Like acting, do you want to be in commercial? Do you want to be in series? Do you want to be in film? And then with that, it's like, do you want to be a writer? Do you want to be a producer? Do you want to be a director? Do you want to be an actor? And then after doing that, it's like, you have to network. You have to find, you don't have to, but trying to get an agent, a manager, that's also difficult. Trying to get some, getting your resume, trying to become SAG, being a non-union. It's just so many different routes that you have to take that it could be very draining sometimes, because you get so many no's as well. Like, you're auditioning nonstop. You can have hundreds and hundreds of auditions before you finally get a yes.
Repeat that one more time for the young viewers, please. Repeat that part.
You can get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of auditions before you finally get that one yes, before you finally get that one booking.
And I want my oldest daughter, she's 11. So, she's, really tall for her age. She wants to get into acting and modeling, and I'm kind of trying to prepare her for that, part, that there will be rejection, right, no matter how beautiful you are or how talented you are. Whoever's doing the talent selection might be looking for something else, might not be looking for good looking, might not be looking for someone that's outspoken. So I'm glad that you addressed that.
And two, with that, just to add on to that, it could have nothing to do with you. And I think that's what happens a lot. Like, you get a rejection and you're thinking like, what's wrong with me? Is it how I look? Is it how I sound? But really, it could just be a different look that they wanted. So it's knowing how to take that rejection and understanding like, okay, I'm taking it, I'm gonna let it go, I'm gonna move forward and keep going on, no matter how far I have to go and no matter how many no's I have to get hit with before I finally get that yes. And I think it only makes you a stronger individual. That's why I feel like before you come into this industry, it's so important to know who you are. And exactly, that mental game has to be so strong. That mental game, because it's very emotionally draining too. I've had my times when I've cried my eyes out. And it's only going to make you stronger if you truly want it, because so many people come into this industry and they think they're going to get into it or get to where they want to be just like that. And that's not the case. So if you're willing to put in not months, years into this, and also know that it's not a definite yes. It's not a definite yes. It's you're playing, it's a risky business. But if this is truly your passion, then nothing's going to stop you.
Excellent. And as far as like tips on, the self-care part and the bouncing back, do you just, go home and look in the mirror like, okay, I'm Ajima Cole, I'm beautiful, and then you reset? Or how does that usually work for you?
For me, like I said, it's important to have good people around you. I'm so grateful to have my friends around me, because there's moments we have all types of conversations, especially within the industry. And we'll talk to each other and be like, girl, remember, you are one bad queen. You need to look at yourself and remember that and just keep going. Forget those people. It doesn't matter. And then they hype you up, right? You're like, you're right. I am. And not only that, I feel like it's okay to cry. If you need to take those moments, those mental breaks, and just cry your eyes out, listen to a sad song. I'm known for listening to my 90s R&B music. That just gets me to my
Mary J.
emotions.
Blige gotta be on that playlist.
John L. Jones, SWB, all of that. And just listen to that and cry your eyes out. Crying is cathartic. So my dad loves to say that.
That release.
That release. It feels so good because afterwards, I'm like, man, you still see like the little tear ducts.
Little pearl drops.
I have makeup on, you just see that line. And I'm like, okay, I feel better. So it's okay to cry. It's okay to talk to your friends. And it's also okay if you need therapy as well. I think that's so important to know and to be able to pass along and let other people know that as well.
And that's very powerful that you mentioned that, because I know with Africans, especially West Africans, mental health is, a topic that's kind of, glossed over. I got a mental health counseling, background. I'm about to start my internship. I got family from back in Ghana that were involved in like the coups back home, and PTSD is reality. But I've noticed that mental health is something that we definitely need to prioritize. So I'm glad that you mentioned that part as well.
Oh yeah, thank you.
As far as like a regular day in the life, are you stressing over diet, or are you relying more on your natural Sierra Leonean genetics in cultural foods? Like, do you eat chicken and broccoli all day? How's your meal prep and all
that? My meal prep, it changes. Like I had pizza this morning, okay? But then yesterday I had quinoa with salmon and broccoli. But of course I put my cassava leaves on my quinoa. Right.
Yes,
so I go from eating African food to trying to be healthy. Like I love my body. Like I said, love my curves. I still want to be fit, in shape. So for me, my goal is like trying to make sure my stomach is a little bit flat and get my abs back.
Okay.
But at the same time, like I'm not stressing over it. I'm not going to stress over it. So as long as I'm healthy and happy, that's all that matters to me at the end of the day.
What's your calisthenics or strength and conditioning routine looking like? Are you doing some CrossFit at Planet Fitness, or what's your exercise looking like?
So 4 times a week at 7 a.m. I go to J-Netics Community Center, and it is all strength training. So we're lifting weights, and it's only like 30 minutes long, but it is super intense. But it's great because the people that are in that class, either a lot of them are actors, writers, some of them are singers. They're either in the industry, and there's even people that aren't in the industry, but we're all so supportive of one another. Like we push each other so hard. So I love going back to that place. 7 a.m., I'm not an early morning person at all, meaning I wake up at 6 a.m. to get there at 7 a.m. And for me, I used to love sleeping in, but now my life is waking up early. Like my body will wake up before my alarm goes off, which upsets me. But that is what I do. I do my strength training. I still go on hikes here and there. That was always a big thing. And then every once in a while, I'll do some jump roping, and I think that's about it. Yeah.
So, you keep it simple, basic fundamentals, but, obviously you're getting the job done, Now, as far as like genre of movies, Black Panther really elevated the game. One guest I was speaking with, she talked about all the opportunities for people of color that Black Panther 1 and 2 provided. Is there any type of production that Ajima Cole would have a lot of interest in being a part of?
Man, I want to be a part of Black Panther too. That was always a goal. Who doesn't want to be a part of Wakanda?
Right.
Right. But other than that, like for me, I have a creative content board in my room. And when I started out, I had like a list of shows I wanted to be on. So it went from This Is Us to Grownish to Black Lightning, which unfortunately is canceled. I am so sad about that. A whole Black family superhero, what? But I really wanted to be on that show because for me, I really want to be a superhero and I want to do my own stunts. That is the number one thing for me. I always tell people that if I go into action, I have to do my own stunts, which is why I do the training. But like, I have a whole list, man.
And you know, as you were saying it, I'm also thinking of Luke Cage. That got
canceled.
And season 2 was better than season 1.
Right, man, I was loving it.
You know, we definitely need professionals like you in the industry to help foster some of those opportunities, especially for lines of movies where we don't have as many people of color. Right. You know, a lot of the superhero movies, obviously the protagonists and antagonists are usually, Caucasians, and, with Black Panther, Luke Cage, Black Lightning, it was refreshing to, start to see more Nubian faces on screen. So
right.
As far as actresses go, Ajima, are there any specific actresses that, you keep tabs on, you kind of, borrow certain elements from, besides like the popular ones like a Gabrielle Union or Alfred Woodard or, Angela Bassett, any other actresses that you follow?
Yeah, for me, when I'm acting, I'm not taking little bits from anyone because I do want to be unique in my own way. But I definitely keep tabs on and love to watch like Lupita Nyong'o, Michaela Cole, Regina King, and my number one, like I love Sanaa Lathan. Like that was the one I love to basketball. Watch. Man, loving basketball, Brown Sugar, like I loved her. So those are a few actresses that I definitely keep my tabs on.
Awesome. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Sanaa Lathan, I believe her father was like some kind of producer or director from back in the day as well. Yeah. So, now, as far as like your 5-year outlook, what are some of the goals that you have on your board in your boardroom right now?
I wrote a series. I shot the pilot. We're in post-production of that. So that is a goal for it to be done and then continuously film the rest of the series and hopefully sell it and get it on a streaming service. That's one thing. I would like to be a lead in a series and or film. And I would love to make sure like I do drama and action. Because like I said, I really want to do my own stunts. Those are a couple things. Down the line, within 5 years, I hope to have written at least 3 more shows. So I'm about to start a second series as well that I started writing already. So I didn't think I'd be a writer at all. But I love that I'm slowly doing it now, and I can see that continuing on. And along the way, I'd also would like to have my LLC for my own production company. So with my series that I started, I have Queen Ajima Productions, and hopefully to expand the brand of Queen Ajima as well.
Beautiful. And obviously, it can be done. You're the one to do it. Remember, there's a British actress of color, Anne Agbomo. I believe she's like Nigerian and British, but I believe she started off as like just an extra on the first Wonder Woman movie. But when she got her first big, I would say lead type role on Krypton on Sci-Fi, I was like, oh wow, she's more than just the look and the physique. This sister has acting skills. So, it definitely It definitely can be done. I think it's
Right.
real, unique that you also have, a college degree already lined up. You're well rounded. You're well
Thank
rounded, and you're a good role model for aspiring actors and actors as well. So
thank you. I gotta thank my
that's
parents for
definitely a
that.
profession here. You know, we got to put you on the spot. Each guest that comes on, we can't let him leave until we ask this question.
Uh-oh.
So, Ajima, if you were coming up with your life story, and of course in a movie format, what would be the title and which actress would play you and why?
About my life story?
Yes, ma'am.
Ooh, that's a great question. You know
Gotta
it
have
too,
the
because your
whole
face is
title and
like,
everything.
what would be the title? Give me a moment to think about this. Okay. Kind of stumped me a little bit.
Of course.
My life story, what would be the title and who would play me? Healing others and myself.
Ooh, the Ajima
Would be
Cole
the
story.
title.
Okay. And who you got? Who got the honor of playing you?
Who got the honor of playing me? Ooh, I'm trying to think.
In 2 straight episodes, Gabrielle Union came up, and I told the guests, like, okay, it's gonna start looking scripted if we keep
Everybody says.
saying Gabrielle Union. I know there's some other actresses out there.
There is someone I actually have in mind. I'm trying to get her name to come to the top of my head.
Uh-huh.
I think it's a newer actress.
Is she foreign born, like British, or is she
No,
actually American born?
oh, from Little Fires Everywhere, Lexi Underwood.
Lexi Underwood. She's definitely new. She
Yeah, she's
gotta be
newer.
new. Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
it's the film with Kerry Washington and Reese Witherspoon. Not the film, the series
Okay.
on I believe it's on Hulu. Like I love the way she acts, and I'm sure she's gonna go far. So that's I'll say that. I'll go with that.
Okay. So she's playing the teenage version, because I believe she's like 17 or 18.
Right, she'll play the teenage version.
Playing the high school Ajima.
You want to know
Okay.
who's gonna be the adult version?
Yes. Who's the adult version now? I can't let you off the hook completely.
Let's go with I'm like in between two people right now.
Okay.
Like I want to say Michaela Cole. Just because
Same last name. What are the odds?
you know what? But we spell our last name different. She is Coel. I'm Cole.
Okay. I'm like, wow.
Right. So there we go. We're gonna go with that. Yeah.
Michaela Cole.
Gorgeous chocolate woman who can act. She's funny. Like I love it.
Awesome. Well, Ajima, somewhere down the line, if you're ever looking for an extra for any of your future productions, my oldest daughter should have some experience under her belt within the next couple of years. So, don't forget about us, Heavy Brand Podcast. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
So, continued blessings.
Amen.